Have you been working on your painting? I've been working on mine, and so I'm laying in the darks and getting some of the lights. I put a little more light into the uppermost surface of that lower layer that I'm painting, just so that it can have a little bit more definition while I work on it, further stuff of keeping track of where I'm at. So anyway, I mixed this really lovely blue, and let's see if I can zoom. See right there, you might be able to see that it's got like a purple mixed in there and the blue, and because the colors that I'm using are those. And they are right here. So we're going to look a little bit at the palette right now. And I'm going to go on the other side and show you. Okay, hi. And so I've got that. If you remember before, we have the phthalo blue and a cobalt blue. Mixing these two together makes a beautiful color, which I then added a little. I'm not going with this yellow. I mean, I could probably even just get this yellow totally off to the side. There's two different yellows here. There's the cadmium medium yellow and a lemon or a light Hansa yellow. And generally speaking, I don't want to be mixing these two in a painting. A painting will either have a cool yellow or a warm yellow, and when you start to mix the two together, I find that it gets confusing. You can't keep track of your almost like your layers. I guess I paint in layers. I certainly do paint in layers, don't I? I've got the bottom layer and then this layer. And so now as I go on here, anyway, enough about yellow, because I'll have the same things to say about blue. But so it's got the tiniest bit here. I'll make you some now. So we've got some of this. I'm going to need some more of this paint, and we'll take a big chunk of that. And then I'll just take a little bit of this, because I don't want a lot. I got leaf in there. So I'm going to mix it right next to the color I've already got, and I'm just going to mix it until I feel like it's right. And it's a very little bit of white in this. So it's close. Not sure what you can see. Add a bunch more of this. I don't want to get too green. And a little of this, a little of this. Look at that. It's looking pretty good. So this is my middle tone, my middle dark tone. Over here, whoops. Over here we've got the black, purple, and a dark red. I have a rag to wipe my palette knife in. Sometimes I use my pants. Anyway, I'm in the desert, so we're going to be spraying that down. Keep it moist. And, okay, so I've got that to work with. I have this. I think that's enough of that white for now. Mostly painting with this color and these colors. So let's paint right here, if you can see that part of the canvas. So it's going to be pushed down a little bit, so I'm going to add just a little bit of this other color down here. I'm coming up to the place where I've got my focal area. I think I need to move the camera for you. This is water. I've got water here, painting right here. I've got my sketch back here, and I am following it along. So I just picked up some of that white. Just pick it up. Just, just touch the end of your brush like that. Tease it. And so this is an edge, right? So I want to just define that edge a little more. This is what, the only place that I'm using those. Here, this is another edge right here. So I'm going to put I'm just going to paint for a minute and you can watch me paint. It's a big canvas. I just switched to a bigger brush. Get it on there. Adjust my color as needed. So what would happen if I use that other yellow is I would really mess up the aqua tint that's in here once I started to continue on down the way, and say I pulled up the wrong yellow, then it's not the same color. It just doesn't look right. Get it. So this is getting lower here, so I'm going to add a little gray. I wanted to tell you one more thing about the color today. So I'm painting and it's like darker here, brighter here, lighter here. So you want to deal with your subtleties and just work your way around the palette to do that. So when I want the lighter, I'm going to dance my brush into this side here, okay? And then I want that lighter part to be over here a little bit more because I want this to bulge out. So when you imagine, if you look at things, look at items or whatever, when they bulge out, they're going to be a little bit more in the light. So I'm going to add some bright to that. Now remember, it's acrylic paint, so I can paint over the top of whatever I want. But the key point here is that it's also a gradient. There's gradients in nature all the time. So a gradient would be going from, it's a change basically. You gradate your change from one area to another. So we're gradient from a brighter blue, the blue that I mixed earlier, all the way down to a darker color. So I do it here too. So we've got the brighter blue all the way over to a darker color, and it's a gradient. So when I go in with my brush, I've got something on my brush, right? And I'd like to be able to know that I'm always putting it in the right spot. But so if I bring this up and I go like that, I just happen to put it in the right spot. But if I do it down here, I can see right away that that's not a good color for my gradient. I want to have a bit more dark in there. Keep it down. Keep it down. And then I'm going to get some more color on my brush, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm working the gradient. So if you, basically what I'm saying about the gradient here is that when you put your brush onto your canvas, if it's not in the right spot as soon as you put it down, just move over. Find out where that right spot is. You can always paint over the spot where you see where you didn't do it right. So if I put this light color down here, and it's too light right there, I can just paint over it and work my gradient. So I'm going to go back and forth here, a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, and I'm going to then place it where I think it might be. Sometimes with practice you'll get it right. I'm coming up to the top edge here. This lifts a little bit, so I'm going to put a little bit of that up in there. Right? Cool. See you later.